Bum, bum,
Walking on heaven's door.
bum, bum,
Almost paradise.
bum, bum.
We couldn't ask for more. Right, Misa? I swear that I could see forever in your eyes. Paradise. He's not wanting me to sing to him right now, but I was doing it
Oh God, we're here, and it's
We're
paradise.
back. Oh, wow. Missed you.
We're here.
Missed the
We're
pod.
doing it.
Missed the pod. Missed. I guess I missed Bachelorettes, but honestly, we both have similar feelings about the end of the season. It was a mess. Katie was chaos. Greg
Yeah,
was chaos. I think everybody was chaos at the end. Honestly, the only person who wasn't chaotic was Justin and Blake, I guess. Blake is just all over the place. It's Blake. But
yeah.
anyway, I'm just glad that it's over. I'm glad that Katie, I guess, is happy. She and Blake are doing a lot of shit on social media. So Katie is quite a Capricorn, right? And her family, by the way, I want to say this because we didn't get to talk about like hometowns and all that shit, but Aunt Lindsay, just so y'all know, that woman, she showed me single-handedly why Katie has a bunch of Capricorn placements like Sun, Saturn, obviously Uranus, Neptune, Venus, all in the fourth house. So the fourth house is home and family, y'all. So I always was one. We obviously, when I see people who have a bunch of fourth house placements, you don't really know them until you like know them and like
Yeah.
meet their family, meet their people, meet and see where they came from, because that's what the fourth house is all about. And so Katie, when I saw both her and her mother, and even her mother was really tough, but like was, still sweet at the end. It was like, I just want you to be happy. But like, it made all the sense as to why Saturn rules that fourth house for Katie, okay, y'all? Because that family was Saturn. Like, might as well have been the archetype of type of Saturn. Like, well, are you sure you want to do this? We don't care about you. We don't need you. And like, hey, I love telling a man, we don't need them. But that was like so much to watch. I just felt bad for him because he actually is pretty well intentioned, I think. But he flunked out of the
I I know that we did not recap the end of the season. I know this is an astrology. I know that all of this is important in the grand scheme of Bachelor Nation. But listeners, like for you guys, Shannon already knows this. I really don't like Katie. Come for me on the internet if you fucking want. I don't like Katie. I did not enjoy watching her on my TV, so I'm not mad that I didn't have to spend hours
I
talking about and then another
yeah,
additional couple hours editing and re-listening to us talking about her.
yeah. I
I'm
figured that we were
happy that it's
good.
done.
And I'm happy it's done too, because
So
again,
happy.
that season was just tumultuous, like overall, I thought. And I think that it was entertaining in parts, but I don't know. And honestly, I'm not even a huge fan of what her men are doing on Paradise right now. Some of them, not really, but no, like I will get to Connor B.
Okay,
But
hold on.
whatever.
Before we get started on
Yes.
Paradise, obviously we
Yes.
did not recap the first episode of Paradise, which was last week, the season premiere.
But I'm down to kind of like mention things that happened,
So,
you
what I
know?
was thinking in an effort for time, because we have to do 2 episodes
Mm-hmm.
today, I want you to say like top 3 things that you took away. Because I feel like it was a
Okay.
whole lot of nothing, because it was mostly introductions,
It
right?
was. It
So, like,
was. It was.
top 3 things that you took away from the premiere of Paradise.
Okay. So number one, Kenny needs to get the fuck off the beach. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, okay, cool. Yes, sure. He is
Okay.
conventionally attractive. He is something else, I guess. I don't know. But these 20 something, mid 20-year-old women, 24, 25, going after Kenny and him actively calling dibs on one of them? No, man, get the fuck off. You're 40. You're 40. That's embarrassing. And you're on Paradise right
But
now.
also, like, can
Chris
we
Bukowski.
collectively agree as a society to like stop calling dibs on people because like it
Yes.
takes two to tango? I don't give a fuck about your
It's also
dibs.
it's just also so disgusting because he was obviously saying dibs to the men, telling
That's
the
what I
men dibs on
mean.
Mari.
Like, if you
Like,
call
it's
dibs on
just,
me and I don't want dibs to be had on me, then like
yep.
your dibs mean literally nothing.
And Mari got fucking lucky, I guess, that she wanted the dibs too. But Jesus Christ, like when she, and also look, I'm gonna say it, y'all. I don't care. Age, sure. Age differences, blah blah blah, sure, whatever. And they happen. And they do well sometimes. Great. My mother married my stepdad, and they were 13 years apart. But that was, when you were in your fucking 50s and 60s. But a 25-year-old hooking up and dating a 40-year-old with potential for engagement at the end of this is absolutely not. Like, I will never think I will never be okay with it, despite the fact that Kenny has the maturity of a hamster.
I also
So,
like, can you imagine? And I know that neither of us are this person, so I know that neither of us can like relate to this. But can you honestly imagine being the person that watched Kenny on television and you're like, wow, that's my dream man? Like, can you imagine?
no, the star tattoos?
No,
Why?
I'm okay with
I'm
the
so
tattoos because,
sorry.
like, if I was allowed to get all the tattoos that I wanted to get when I was 18, you know what I mean? Like,
That's
if I
fair,
did the
but it's
things that I
like
impulsively wanted to do, I'd have a
he
lot of fucked up tattoos.
but he doesn't have that many more. Like he has, it is a particular patterned point that he made for
I
his
no,
fucking
I
men
understand. I
boy
understand.
stars.
I feel like
So tacky.
if I yeah
But I understand. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I get it too. I get it. Yeah. Everyone has crazy tattoos, but it's just to me, I'm like, if you're going to have crazy tattoos, you got to have some tattoos that mean something. But I'm just trying to sit there and be like, so Kenny, tell me what the stars on your body mean to you.
I bet that those are like
I
in
don't know.
early in life where he's like, these will look cool, and I'm sure he's
I
not
just
like.
love America.
I don't think it's that. I hope it's
Right,
not
right.
that.
But anyway, so I'm not down for Kenny. That's my main, and I don't like that a lot of the women are all over him,
Yeah, I don't get it.
and it's just weird to
I
me.
really
I
don't
don't
get
get it
it.
either. He is not that hot.
I don't
Like, I
think
guess he
that
has
there are
a
many
body.
options. In my
Yeah,
personal
that's fair.
opinion, in my
Mm,
personal taste level, if I was on the
true,
beach, there's not a single man
true.
where I'd be like, that's my guy. Like, I don't, you know, my type. Like, it's none of these
Yeah, that's
men.
fair. Well, all right. So, another
Okay.
takeaway is that I'm so happy Tajuan is back. And not gonna get the firm full edit of the sweat because y'all, everybody's fucking hot in paradise. It's just the fact that Tajuan is quite a Libra. Actually, wait, I had her birth year wrong. I have to do it one more year back. Because when I ran her chart, I was like, of course, she's a fucking Virgo something. So she has so she's all freaking out about the heat, but I had her year wrong. 1992. Okay, please tell me she's still a Virgo. Something. Damn it. I'm wrong. Whatever. But anyway, sun on the ascendant. Wow, she can't handle the sun? It's literally on her first house. Whatever. Anyway, that being said, happy she's back. And also LOL at Trey's uncle, I guess.
Who's hot?
Who's hot. And I also have seen um rumors that he is quite a player.
If I
Which wouldn't
looked like him, I
surprise
would be
me.
too. Like, I don't.
Yeah, like and on dating apps and shit. Yeah, no. So yeah,
Third thing.
that was funny. And then let me, I'm just scrolling through my notes to see the things that popped out. Oh, well, okay. I'm gonna say one very quick thing and then because another age difference thing that I'm not super fan of is Joe and Serena P. But I promised that I would mention this because I mentioned on the stories. But so when Serena P and Joe were talking, and Joe was like, "How old are you?" And she's like, "I'm 20." Or no, she asked him, "How old are you?" And he goes, "I'm 35." And she goes, "Wow, I'm 23." And she goes, "We're 12 years apart." She said the magic number, y'all. Did you know that the magic astrology number is 12? Because there are 12 signs, there are 12 houses, there are 12 oppositions, there are 12 everything. Okay. So that made me realize that both of them are in what is called a 12th house perfection year. Perfection years in general are every year of our life starting on our birthday. We have a new like perfection year based on a house in our chart. Starting at age 0 with the first house and literally just going around and around and around and around until we die. So age 23 for Serena and age 35 for Joe are both 12th house years because they're 12 years apart. And we all know that 23, a lot of us have been there or are approaching 23 if you're listening to us. And 23 is the weirdest fucking year. It's very like, who am I? What am I doing? I'm post college, but I'm not an adult yet. And it's like this like weird year. I mean, Blink 8182 said it, and nobody likes you when you're 23 because you don't even know if you like yourself. You got to figure it out because then by 24, it's our first house year and we get a kind of a renewed sense of self. So 23 is usually the shit year of that, of dredging out, figuring it out. 35 is similar, but it's not necessarily post college. It's just that like mid 30s vibe of like, well, I'm now like approaching 40. I'm like, what am I doing? You're getting close to another Saturn transit. It's just like a lot of growing up, but 35. So Joe's energy when he first arrived in paradise gave me 12th house. The fact that he was just like being weirdly emo in a corner by himself before even anybody was like talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like having this meltdown about Kendall and like being there again and all of that. And I just think that 12th house of like I am going inward and I'm not understanding how I'm feeling on in the inside. So how am I supposed to understand how I feel on the outside? So anyway, the fact that her and Joe are both in a 12th house here just makes me wonder like if this will last because it's very common for people to get married at 23 if you're young and do that. There's a lot of people that get married around
Mm-hmm.
there, and it's always interesting to see when they divorce. So I'm intrigued to see about the this too. But anyway, but as far as that, I also don't like that age difference. But um whatever. Serena is mature, but as all most women are mature. But anyway, and then Abigail and Noah. I just don't like how Noah was like, I work with disabled kids, so I like Abigail. Just
That rubbed me the wrong way. Absolutely.
so. What about you?
My three things are similar in principle but different in detail.
Right.
Like your thing about
Yes.
Kenny, I like being off the beach. I need Joe to be just fucking gone. Joe does not belong
Yeah,
there.
I
I
agree.
don't
Yeah,
understand. If Joe was not working on like a Bachelor Nation podcast, like if he wasn't immersed in this franchise in some kind of way, he would never have been invited back. Like he's not I
agreed.
don't think that he's good television. I don't find his personality particularly charismatic. Like he is just not my cup of tea. I don't find him entertaining and I don't really want to watch him. I think he's really awkward and creepy. Like all of his behavior through the entire first episode, I was like, I would not like that. I don't even know what
Be
his
into
fucking
this.
problem is. I can't begin to get into all that. He's clearly
And
not over
and
Kendall.
a lot of women were like into him
Which I
immediately.
don't understand. He literally looks
Do
like
y'all?
a a member of the crew who like just
Yeah.
was on fucking camera. Even like from the way he was
When he
dressed to the
was
way he was behaving, like he looked like a member of the production crew stumbled into a shot and they're like, "Fuck, you're there now.
just go
Go with
ahead,
it."
you ahead. No, and down to when he in this recent episode when he made fun of Thomas for having the super short shorts. I'm like, hey
Oh, we'll
buddy,
get there.
that's
Yeah,
fucking
I'm about to
in
say
right
Joe has
now.
no style.
That's
Joe
in.
has, I mean, I don't want to say no style, but Joe does.
The
I
headband.
don't. Yeah. So that's my first thing.
Yeah.
My second thing is I think that David Spade should be the host forever. He said something in this episode that I like didn't really enjoy, but I know that that was not him, and that was
Was it
it was when Demi walked up, but it was like very clearly a scripted thing that he wasn't just like saying off the cuff, which I don't necessarily
was it
excuse. And I
that
think he
was
should
funny.
stay. I'm down for
The
the
champagne.
revolving celebrity guests, but like I actually truly enjoy what David Spade brings to the franchise.
Yeah.
And then my third thing is I really, really, really wish we could go back to a time in this franchise where participating did not automatically make you a celebrity because some of like the egos on these people coming into paradise.
But yeah, I agree. I think that everybody needs to chill. Also, I think this is a blanket statement because it does apply to the rest of the episodes, all three so far. But like, look, y'all, I get that we're all talking to each other outside of paradise before we get to paradise, but can y'all fucking get your shit together before
Oh
you
my
get
god.
here? I'm so tired of hearing about drama that is off screen that I'm not
This
seeing.
is so
Show
we're
me
gonna
the
circle
drama.
back to this in the first week's episode because there's that whole business about Brendan and Piper. And like I have a lot of feelings about like Abigail.
Well, no, that
That's
was
what I
episode
mean. The
2.
first episode of this week. Because we're
Oh.
not talking
Oh, I
about the
thought
first episode. The first episode that we're
no,
talking
I
about.
thought
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. Um, yeah.
Ep 2.
But our technical first recap episode. So the whole thing with like Brendan and Piper, and like we'll go into more detail when we get there, but it's like, I don't know why Abigail is like, they're all playing a game of telephone. It was on social, like we all saw it. Like it wasn't a
It was
secret.
well, I'm wondering like I think was it when was that announced? Because I think it was either while they were filming or like right
No, it was
before.
after, um, right
Because it
after
was
Matt season. Because when you
after.
think about the fact that it's been some time, like it really has been some
Yeah.
time. Even
Oh wait, after Matt's season, you right
Brendan's from
because
Tasha
that
and
season was in the
Claire's.
fucking
No, exactly.
fall.
Like so they were
Yeah.
spotted together
Oh
for
yeah.
a good chunk of time, like a good period of time. And it was the thing that people were talking
Yeah.
about. So
Everybody's
this
just
really isn't so much like it is he said, she said, because only Connor or only Brendan and Piper really like know what is going on. But at the same time,
right.
like it's not like someone's like, oh, I saw them together. And it's not like nobody else saw them together. Like we all saw the
Yeah,
Instagram
it's not a
stories. We all
secret.
saw the fucking, we saw it. We know. Um, but on
Yep.
that note, do you want to just get into it?
Yeah, let's freaking
All right.
go, man. Yeah, this second episode just starts with
10 guys,
Tammy giving us
13
all of
girls,
the
men
couples.
have the roses,
Yep.
and 3 women, as of now, are heading home because Demi has not technically made
Yep.
her arrival yet.
Yes. We had her cliffhanger at the first
Yes.
episode, but now episode 2 is her official intro. But the couple starting out on this episode are Tammy and Aaron, Tajwan and Trey, Marissa and Connor, Mari and Kenny, Joe and Serena, wow, and Brendan and Natasha. So we have Demi coming in, and I'm all right. I had a lot of feelings about Demi's intro because I have a lot of feelings and thoughts about Demi in general as a queer person and a queer person, right? When she said to David Spade that she was coming onto Paradise, she's like, I'm bi, but I'm here to date some men. Like, I want to date men.
So this was after that was in response to my thing that David Spade said that I fucking hated, where he literally asked her, "Are you here for the P or the D?"
Oh, yep.
And I was like, "Shut up, David Spade."
Literally that.
I
And
get I get where some producer or whoever thought this was fucking funny, but literally shut up.
also, to me, part of this felt very like performative. Like Demi is queer, and
Part of it?
that's no doubt. But what the problem with this, what it felt like with me, is that production is making a joke out of her bisexuality, and also at the same time making her say, "Oh, I'm here for men,"
That's what I
because
mean. Yeah.
of course you are. There are no queer women out queer women, who knows, on the beach, but like there is no one else on the beach who is out queer. So obviously Demi isn't going to be in there going to fucking prey on these straight
Exactly.
women. It's
Right.
just like bothers me that we had to have her say that, because also like she's like, I'm here for men. It's just, again, it perpetuates the idea that bisexuality is very much like, oh yeah, like I like these women and I was engaged to one, but like I'm here for men, dick. It's just
Yeah,
like,
no, it's the way
oh,
that they
like
pose it where it's like, so like how you feeling?
it's
Like you're
one
feeling
or the
like
other.
right. And it's like, I mean, whoever
Yeah, it's like I'm here for anybody that is I'm
that I
into, but
like.
also
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to be going into trying to convince these straight women to date me. Like clearly I had a very special situation with Kristen from my seat. Like, God, it was just annoying. So that was annoying. But then Demi just continues to annoy me by being Demi and not by being queer. Like, she's literally just like, I'm ready to stir the pot. I want to break up some boys. I'm here. Haha, these men aren't ready. And I'm like, girl, what? Like,
So this is
you might have a lot of clout, but like,
I have
what?
complicated feelings about it because like we've spoken about Demi and like it's nice that there was some kind of queer representation on the show,
Love it.
right? And like there's like a certain vein and like I said, like very complex, complicated feelings because it's like you want to support queerness on the show, but at the same
100%.
time, Demi's I listeners, I'm so sorry.
There are
This is
awful
my
queer
personal
people.
opinion, but like I think Demi's a piece of shit. I think Demi is a garbage person based on what I've seen of her on Twitter, on the show, whatever. And it's one of those things where it's like I want to root for the queer person, but why the fuck does it have to be Demi?
And
I
why would I
can't
root for a
stand
queer
Demi.
person who wants to actively break up relationships, who exhibits a lot of toxic monogamy,
That's what I
and
mean. Like
then
I have to take her being
goes on
queer
to
out of
her
it.
and then goes onto her Instagram and is like, I'd still fuck Brendan, basically. And it's like, well, hopefully he's not with someone right now. Shit.
He
But
probably
also she probably
is.
wouldn't care.
Exactly.
So that was just a lot. Demi's intro was a lot. And it sucks because the other thing I find interesting about Demi is so everybody, I have Demi's full chart. And you want to know why I have Demi's full chart? Not because I asked, but because during Colton's season, I was watching an Instagram live of hers. I don't know why. I never watch Instagram lives, like literally ever. But I think I just had accidentally clicked on it like with a story and I just like got stuck. And somebody asked her what her birthday was and her zodiac, and she said she's a Pisces sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising. So that being said, Pisces sun, mutable, this idea of shifting who you are and to be somebody else whenever you need it. Demi has not been the same personality on all three of the seasons we've now seen her on. Colton season, the last Bachelor in Paradise, and this season. They're all three different types of Demi. Sure, she
Interesting.
was definitely a little more confident and like the on Bachelor in Paradise, but I remember on Colton season she was definitely like a little chaotic, but then she got really was like, my mom's in prison, like, and all this stuff that was like, she was really real, more vulnerable with herself. And then on Paradise 2, on her first Paradise season, once Kristen showed up, it was pretty much like she was just wifed up and she was just vibing and she was making funny comments and like silly commentary about other people, but wasn't actively trying to quote unquote stir the pot, which is her literal intro on the Paradise song. So anyway, this one I'm just like, girl, please take a like
She is a shit stirrer. She is
yeah.
dramatic. She's a company man, and she just like behaves the
She's
way that a company man would behave in the situation that she's in, if that makes sense.
yeah.
But she's like the
No, you're
same
right.
company man all the time. Because like there's no it's in my notes later, but I literally wrote like, is this fucking real? Is she like legit, or is she putting on a show for being on Paradise? Because like obviously we knew that her whole stint on Paradise the first time was total bullshit because they had Christian coming in
Yep.
halfway through, and she obviously knew that. So it's like, are you a fucking paid actor, Demi? Like literally, what is going on?
Well, her chart ruler is a Leo Mars in the 10th house. So,
Probably.
yeah, in my opinion, she's very much cuz like having so first of all, Demi is one of, many Scorpio rising women on this show because the Leo 10th house is strong. That 10th house is where we are most visible, most public, most out in the world, and also Leo 10th house, the show itself, The Bachelor has a Leo moon. It all makes sense. But the fact that she has an actual Leo Mars in the 10th, like, is a lot of intensity and a lot of like, I am the fucking star. Like my mother is also ruled by a Leo Mars, so but it's not in 10th house. But she has similar energy of like, look at me, like, and Demi needs it, and that's what happened on her date with Brendan. So obviously she comes in, she takes all of the men and talks to all of them, like Connor, Kenny, Brendan, and then she obviously is most into Brendan, which I find funny because he's a Scorpio and she's got the Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising. So she's like, oh, Scorpio, we can have deep conversations
This
even though we
was
weren't talking about anything.
so painful. It's like you're reading my note, Shannon. I literally wrote depth, Demi, depth. Like fucking please.
This is about to be another theme that I'm going to bring up when we talk about Connor later, but Pisces and their delusions, they will live in them. They will find a comfortable
I mean,
home and they will live in it
that's
forever.
very
Their delusional
clearly
fantasy.
demonstrated by how the Demi and Brendan storyline plays out. She is, I don't mean crazy in a negative term. We all know I'm mentally ill.
No.
I'm not shy about saying so, but like she's acting fucking
She's
crazy.
just so much. Well, and I will say this too. I don't particularly
Oh
like
my god.
Brendan in this scenario either. At the beginning of the day, he's fine, but
Oh,
later, I don't I because despite how I don't like Demi's reaction to what Brendan said, I still don't like how Brendan stuff unfolded later. But whatever, we'll
the
get there.
whole thing's a mess. It's just
It is
a
all a mess.
mess.
Well, because Because Brendan is also being a fucking messy water sign. He's being a Scorpio who can't fucking decide on anything. Actually, I need to pull up his because I have the Tasha season Google Doc of us. Yes. No, he's a Scorpio Venus. But he's a Libra moon. That
Hmm.
makes sense. Because I had been thinking that Brendan was a Libra Venus, and I was like, of course he can't fucking like decide and whatever, but no, Libra moon tracks too. Scorpio Sun, Libra moon. Fun fact: that's also Jared Habon, aka Jared Iconetti of Ashley Iconetti. He's also Scorpio Sun, Libra moon, which kind of tracks. Their behavior is very similar. He's like about to like Jared friend zoned Ashley on Bachelor in Paradise like twice, and she was still Pisces, obsessed with him in her delusion that they were going to get married, and then they did.
Yeah, and I'll never really understand how that happened.
Her Taurus Venus was like, I seize it, I'm going for it, I'm never leaving it, and the Scorpio just had to get used to it. But anyway, Brendan seems like the kind of guy who would just get used to something. I mean, it kind of seemed like
So
he got used to his first woman before Tasha, the woman he was like married
yes,
to,
yes, yes.
and they like got divorced. He was like, yeah, we just got married because we were high school sweethearts and thought we supposed to, and then we just did. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But anyway, date, they like ride jet skis, whatever. And then I did notice this one thing when I could tell Brendan was at least attracted to her. Because when they were talking on their date after the jet ski ship, she and him they're talking about whatever the fuck they're talking about, and their eye contact, they were like like staring at each
So
other's eyes, and I'm just like, this water sign, I literally wrote, I was like, this water sign eye contact is so intense right now. And then when they make out, like so slowly, like
I
like what you think in a movie.
I wrote
It was
the
hot.
phrase, Shannon, awkward and painful to watch at least 4 separate times, and every single time it was in regards to Demi and Brendan. This was so difficult, and I don't know if like I said, like it is this fucking real or is
This
this an
is
act? But it's like
yeah.
I find it very hard to believe. I think Demi's beautiful. I think she's a very conventionally attractive woman. I don't think that anyone could say otherwise. I think she's very, very beautiful, but like, I find it very hard to believe that she's never been rejected before. And yet her
That
behavior is literally
yeah.
saying, and the fact that she even says, like, well, it happened with Colton, but he was gay. And it's like, you are not everybody's cup of
That
tea, homegirl. Like,
also, girl, you're queer. Like, could you relax a bit?
yeah, like she just grosses me out on like a whole, I really just would
And
never vibe with her in real life.
well, and so the thing is too with this whole thing is like, again, up until the makeout and like up until that, their date I thought was perfectly fine and they were doing well together and he seemed into her. But then after that was when I was like, oh Demi, oh Demi, oh
Well,
Demi,
I
no,
mean, have you ever
girl,
had an
no.
experience, like, even if it's like someone that you had a crush on, right? So from far away, you're like, oh, like, I could see myself like going on a date, like getting along with them, or like whatever, like hallway crushes, right? In like high school or college, like
Right.
people you see and you're like, that might be nice.
And you picture
And then the
yourself with
second that you
them.
actually talk to them, or the second you get to know them, you're like, oh, like that was clearly just no,
Fantasy.
yeah, exactly. And I think that that's like a very I think that that's very clearly what happened with Brendan. I think Brendan was like entertaining the idea and then was just like, oh, like, no. And he
Well,
says it. He does this
and
whole thing
there's
later that confirms what I'm thinking.
yeah.
But it's like,
Well, and when he also that's also when he was annoying me because later. But
but
the other thing though too, separately
yeah,
really quick is like everybody is ready to get out of the palapa and go on a date with anybody because they're stuck there unless they're on a date. So
right.
all of them kind of want to go, especially early on when I mean I'm thinking of Serena P and Thomas. Like it's the same vibe of like we just kind of sure he's hot, and so Brendan was like Demi's hot, and I want to get out of here.
But
So
exactly. And
sure.
like, so as I've stated before, I'm not a fan of Demi, and I'm really gonna try and like not say that terribly often because I don't want to seem like I'm ragging on her because I just like don't particularly care for her. But like after she has like a fucking meltdown and then immediately
No,
jumps
this is
straight to manipulation, and it's like kind of fucking crazy to me, and it's the same thing that she did on Twitter when people called her out for things and she was like, sorry that
yeah.
I'm just the fucking worst. And it's like classic move to get people to be like,
Yeah.
no, 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 you're not the worst, you're not the worst. And it's like, no, maybe you fucking
Well,
are, maybe you are.
you're perfectly You're perfectly describing what happens to Pisces people when their fantasy is crushed and then but not because of their like okay, it's one thing for the fantasy like you were describing earlier for like the person to meet somebody and be like, oh, actually that's not what I wanted, my fantasy is blown up, so
Yeah.
I'm leaving. No, Demi's like, my fantasy broke and I wasn't the one to choose that, like someone else broke it for me, so I'm freaking the fuck out. And so it makes me think about all these things, like her chart was just lighting the fuck up, like the Pisces victim, because that's what Pisces do whenever in manipulation, like when they feel hurt, their immediate thought is like, well, I'm just the victim here completely and I did nothing wrong. And you're like, girl, no, you're at paradise. And he's probably is going to want to explore other things, especially when he was basically talking to someone before you
That's,
got there.
oh
Like,
my
you
God.
have to be
Oh my
ready.
God,
If you're
Shannon.
trying to break up a relationship, you have to be ready for the fact that that other person might not want to be
It is,
broken up with. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I,
but her Leo Mars went full drama queen, just like immediate 0 to
she
60
says,
reaction of like,
this woman
holy shit.
says, literally, I put it in quotations, I went out of my way. She's saying that she went out of her way to take him on a date. Girl, you held a date card and you picked the person you thought was the hottest. Let me know how far out of your way that really was. Like, tell me what would have been
Yep.
convenient for you other than literally standing in front of
Yeah.
a group of people and being
And
like, you. Shut up.
she also says probably the most like Leo Mars phrase, like in the way she says, my ego is very bruised right
So
now. And that is literally like ego and bruise. It's like Leo Mars, like literally an ego
I
injury. Like it's just
literally,
so funny how that is just boom.
when I tell you, I have so many
But
different quotes from Demi because, like, this is when I started saying, like, is this real or is this a fucking act? Like, is she actually feeling this way or is she playing it up for the camera? Because this seems bonkers to
yeah,
me. Bonkers to me that she's like, well, he's thinking I'm some clingy bitch. And I'm like, because you're acting clingy.
yeah.
That you are
And or
picking up
she
on that
says,
accurately. You're behaving like a
and
child.
she describes herself as the cream of the crop. Why wouldn't she
She
want
said
me?
she's the best person on this beach. And I'm like, girl, you were not there when all the men were talking about Serena P.
Literally though, they were all
Nobody
jumping
was sitting
on
there saying,
her.
I hope Demi
Okay.
comes to the beach. So take that.
Yeah. And then this is when, so, but did you notice how eventually she kind of flips and is like, well, I didn't ask him to like be my boyfriend, like
Oh,
whatever. Like
yeah.
this
It's
is
clear that she does not like being
it's like
rejected. Clear.
she's trying to make it being like, well, it wasn't my fault, like fuck you.
I didn't even want you that
But
much.
and I
Relax.
will say he does admit that he told her in bad timing. I mean, he literally told her like, we should see other people right after they made out. I'm sure there was probably some kind of cut, but either way, it's just like, I get you, girl, that's
Like you could
awkward,
have
and
held on to
hey,
that
I've
until
been there.
after the date was
Yeah,
over. Like you didn't need
literally,
to
you
say
can
it.
ITM up a storm if you want, but like getting all in his face about it was very strange. And then but between this date is when we start getting Brendan rumors about Piper being spread around the
Yes.
rest of the palapa while they're gone. And so it like eventually, obviously it eventually spreads to Natasha, and Natasha is like, who also is talking to Brendan, is like, well, I don't know what's going on, that doesn't make me feel good, and all that stuff. I also really love Natasha a lot.
I
And I think
like
she's
her
legit.
more than I thought I would because I don't necessarily like her presence on the podcast that she does.
I didn't like her energy on Peter's
Yeah.
season that
She
much.
seems a lot more like down to earth now and like a lot more like
I'm vibing with
less
her right
like
now.
on. I don't want to say
Yeah.
on because I feel like that you know what I mean.
Yep. So anyway, I'm gonna continue talking about the Demi Brendan shit because we're gonna go back to something about Jasenia. We're gonna go back to Jasenia and
Okay.
Ivan's date, but I just want to finish the Demi Brendan stuff because they come back to the beach and she like says she thinks she's like, I felt cheated on that date. La, 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 la. You're like, okay, whatever, dummy. And then she tells the women about like what was happening. Brendan then comes in later. Like Demi arrived to the beach
He
first.
probably did an IPM or
And then
something. They
Brendan,
probably like held him back for an interview.
yeah,
But like
yeah.
maybe this is what you're trying to say, so I'm sorry
And
for cutting you
then
off, but like what frustrates the fuck out of me about Demi at this exact moment is that she comes back and she's like talking about how she gets cheated out of the date, right? And she's like saying in her ITM that like, well, Brendan's a player. And all I'm thinking is like, you asked him on a date. If he had said no in front of all those people, you would have been pissed regardless. So really, like, there's no way for him to win unless he goes along with this fantasy that you're feeling. Like, you would have been unhappy in some regard. So maybe just like fucking calm down.
He played, so this is another funny thing I think that about astrology and synastry
Mhm.
wise. So she's a Scorpio rising and he's a Scorpio sun. He is his identity, like the way his sun sign, like the way he just is always going to act, especially in adulthood, right? Is as a Scorpio, whereas her innate stuff is Scorpio, but then she leans to Pisces. So what's interesting is rising and sun tend to have like a competition with each other unintentionally because the rising sign sees the sun and is like, ooh, I want to act like that, but it's not always like that. Like they don't like Brendan and I am not down for a lot of what Brendan does either because I think he just reminds me too much of so many Scorpio messy men who don't know how to
Yeah.
make up their mind and want to keep people on the hook. He is keeping Natasha on that fucking hook, waiting for Piper to show up. And I'm not down because again, separate of Demi, Brendan annoys me. But anyway, the fact that she's all thinking like, oh, he's a player, he's this, and like, girl, you're just fucking getting a taste of your own medicine. Like the Scorpio versus Scorpio, like it's happening, and he is holding firm and being like, bye, and she's like, because she's a Scorpio rising who's just more Martian. I wonder what his rising sign is. He gives me like air or maybe water also, but whatever. And then this is when I start getting annoyed with Brenda because he talks to Natasha. And Brendan, oh, he tells, wait, no, just kidding. He tells this to Demi first, but he's like, yeah, Piper and I, we've hung out. We've enjoyed each other's company. When he said that, I'm like, dude, just shut up. We know you fucked. Like, please stop. Like, it was such a mess the way he was describing it. And then Natasha is then talking to him and is like, the fact that we have to talk about someone who's not here, that's not great. She asks him about what his thought process is, and he goes with Demi, and he goes, did I have fun with her? Yeah. But did she set my soul on fire? Nah. Like Scorpio men need to stop sometimes. Like, bro,
It's like
is that your threshold for everyone? Is that they must set your soul on fire? Also, doesn't it seem like Natasha is setting your soul on fire as far as episode 3 comes down later? Whenever she's literally like, I just don't feel like you're that into me. He's like, I like you more every day. And she's like, what?
I have I'm not saying that I'm like super healthy or like I'm in, you know what I mean?
No
But
one,
like I
no one
relate.
is.
I think his words were fucked up. I think like the way that he said things was garbage. However, I understand what
Yes.
he's saying. And like for all he knows, like maybe he does like Natasha. Like they haven't like made out like that yet. So like maybe she will set his soul on fire. Like who the fuck knows? But maybe he just like definitively knew
Also,
that
yeah.
Demi didn't. And it's one of those things where it's like, Demi, listen, girl, I know you think you're the cream of the crop. I know you think so.
But you know what's
Not everybody is gonna like you and that abrasive personality. And I'm down. I also have an abrasive personality. So like I get that on a very real level, but
same.
like sometimes people just don't like you and that is really okay. And you need to just be like, okay, and move on.
Also, I'm gonna be real too. A Scorpio sun is not gonna like an abrasive personality unless they're like full of Sagittarius placements. But
I
even
feel like
then,
they would like an
probably not.
abrasive
Like
personality in
Scorp.
like the dry, sarcastic kind of abrasive, not the like look at me, look at
Yes.
me, look at me kind of abrasive.
No.
Yeah.
Like Scorpio suns want to be more
Brendan will like me
secluded
a
with their
lot.
partners, especially. Shut up! Oh my god, you're falling
I
into
don't
the
know.
trap.
I don't want Brendan to want me. That's why.
No, I know. He is God, he is such
Like he
a
wants
trap,
someone that's
mind
gonna
you. Like
like
he is a
bust his I think
walking
that Brendan wants someone that's gonna bust his balls, but like in the very like casual, like doesn't look up from their phone and it's just like, yeah,
Scorpion.
well, you know what, your hair looks like shit today. Like he's not gonna want someone to be like, well, I mean, like you kind of like so stupid. Like he's I don't
No, I literally that. Like, oh my god, stop! You're being ridiculous. You're like
Oh
so
my God.
dumb right now. You
No,
look
exactly. Like
stupid.
they're
Like,
different. It's
ew.
different.
Yeah, Scorpio's not down for that. I mean, shit, even I was a little too much for my Scorpio ex because I'm just very like I'm very loud and also very much like want to be out, want to be cool,
Yeah,
have
yeah.
people around, want to bring shit, but want to be constantly moving. And Scorpios are a little more like, whoa, 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 can we just chill
Yeah.
at home? Like, yeah. But all right, but so that kind of wraps that general
Oh,
shit
the
for
last thing
the
that I have
second
to say
episode.
about
Second
Demi and
episode.
Brendan and
Go
Natasha
ahead.
is I found it hilarious in like the worst way that when Brendan was talking to Natasha, Demi's sitting there like, oh, like they think that they're like cute, like they think that they're funny, like doing this in front of me. I'm like, girl, he was talking to her before you even showed up. Literally, who are you?
Also, that's the
Who are you?
game.
I'm
They are
Demi. Like,
all
shut the fuck up. Oh my god, I cannot stand her. I cannot stand her. I
demigod.
need her off my TV
Yeah, it's a bummer.
immediately.
So
Ugh.
I just feel a lot of a lot. All right.
Moving on.
So now let's go to beautiful, perfect icons, Ivan and Jasenia, who are literally that couple.
Can
So
we
their
wrap it up right
date,
now?
first of all, their
Can we
date
just call them
was
the winners and like the
so
success
hot.
story and just be done?
They are literally like, oh my God. So
I love them.
Ivan, they go on this date. So Ivan and Jasenia were the couple that were kissing in the first episode in silhouette. You could kind of tell it was Ivan, but you could barely
Yeah.
tell who he was kissing. And now it's like I'm so glad to see their connection. Also, okay, so they get on this date. Jasenia looks so good. Like she has a bunch of Scorpio placements too, and she's a Scorpio Mars actually, but I think she's an Aries. But anyway, she had her curly hair was looking so fucking luxurious, and she was just so God. She just looks
She's
so
beautiful.
fucking
She's
good.
there.
Anyway,
Oh,
she's
I cannot take it.
so she did not get justice on Matt's season. Like I
The
don't know what it
lighting.
was, but like
Literally the lighting.
yeah, I guess. And everybody on the beach, you get all the sun, everyone's
I
glowing, and it's like also less makeup, more like hydration stuff because it's so gross, and they're just like
can I
all
just
looking shiny and
my like
delicious. Oh
little
my God,
note
I love
blurb
it.
for Jasenia and Ivan is so short. Can I just read it to you? It literally is. I
Yes,
love
please.
this date. I love the setup. I love the conversation. I love them together. Ivan and Jasenia forever, please. And that's all I have to say. Like they are
Literally that.
perfect. Like that's the depth that we want. Producers, are you listening? That's the depth we want.
Yes.
We want more conversations like this, please. I don't give a fuck about you guys saying that each other is hot 5 times.
Not only not only that, Ivan immediately acknowledges that the BIPOC women of the show get more hate unnecessarily than the men do. He was literally talking about Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, his brother in prison, and he says he got no racism, basically. And she didn't do shit other than go against MJ.
Can I tell
Like,
you? Okay, this might be a hot take.
it's like I am so love him. I just love him so much. His Taurus moon, his Pisces sun. He's so squishy and adorable, and I'm just like,
This might be a hot
you're so
take,
sweet.
but like I think
Ah,
this is like a bigger commentary on like society as a whole, but it's very specifically Bachelor Nation because we even see it in the women on the show. And it really is so fucking sad that it really does feel like women love to hate other women. And I like can't after I just spent like 30 minutes talking shit about Demi, but it really does seem like women like love to shit on other women and women are like, "Oh, Ivan's so great. Ivan's so great." And it's like like what was wrong with Jasenia? What was wrong with Jasenia that she literally called all of you assholes out of your fucking caves to like send her these disgusting messages? Like I don't think I'm talking to any of those people now. I would like to think that none of our listeners would ever do something like that because, whatever, but it really
yeah.
goes to show like the lack of support between women like on the show itself and then like within the franchise as a whole, like fans and contestants. It's really fucking
Everyone,
disgusting.
yeah.
Support women, you
Sexism
assholes. Not
is
not
running
listeners. I know you guys
strong
aren't listeners.
forever. And
Everybody else.
especially women who like Jasenia. Jasenia didn't do shit wrong. Jasenia was
She had the balls to be
s-
outspoken.
and there were a lot of there were lots of women on that show, BIPOC and white, anybody who were doing a lot of dumb shit. But Jasenia was very much just like, I'm being real with you. Like, I am upset the way you talk to me. I'm upset the way you talked about me and about whatever. Get your name out of my mouth, but not in a like shitty way. And then they ended up on their 2-on-1, and Jasenia stomped all over her in a good way because she's a Cat Moon who knew her shit, and MJ was so unhinged. But anyway,
Wow,
I'm
I'm so
so
happy
wow.
she's not on
Speaking of, I'm so
Paradise.
glad MJ's not on the beach. Right?
I kind of forgot she was existed, and I was like, damn, I'm
Shit.
really happy that I forgot.
Wow. Yeah, I was like, damn, I forgot about her. But anyway, actually it seems to be that most of the like women that were kind of caught up in drama that wasn't like Victoria drama on Matt's season aren't here yet, because I feel like maybe they were smart and they were like, I don't know if I want to do that right away. Whereas Thomas
Well,
was
it's like
like,
even
let's
Jasenia.
go.
Well, I've got feelings about Thomas. I think that Thomas behaved poorly on his
Yeah.
show, but I think that Thomas got a worse rap than he really deserved. I think that people were unnecessarily cruel to him, um, more than he deserved.
I think that I think that Thomas is shitty still for lots of other reasons, but I think that again, no one can say shit about coming on the show and not thinking about being the Bachelor and all that. And of course, that's what came up again on Paradise, where they mentioned that he's whatever, but that's the third episode. But so I love that's okay. My my notes on this is I loved when Jasenia was like, she's like, I had to think long and hard about coming back to Bachelor in Paradise, but she said, then she goes, I feel safe here. I feel safe with you. I was like, like crying. And then both he and Ivan in an ITM is so cute. He's like, when someone asks you a question, you're like, oh, what do you think about Jasenia? And he's like, Senya, oh my god. Like he's just like
Yeah.
starstruck in love already. And I'm like, I love this. And then when they made out in that pool, I was like, okay, can I not pause this TV right now so I can go over real quick? I'm like, he was like, okay, Taurus moons are so sensual, but he's literally like holding her face, like not like, because you know how people, okay, when you have someone hold your face while they're making out, it's one thing if it's like holding your face and your neck, like and tight. No, he had his hands just like gently on her cheeks and on her like side of her head, and they were like that was a fucking kiss,
No,
okay?
I'm saying
Like,
right now, if
woo,
there's a
hot
winner
in the
of this
pool.
type of show, Ivan and Jasenia, let's just wrap it up now.
They're done. Great. All right. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if Ivan stuck it with Jasenia too, and both of them stuck with each other. I hope. Crossing my fingers. Okay. Then we had
Tammy and Victoria drama.
let's
I can't even.
yeah, which is really fucking okay. Also, this is one of my favorite moments. Actually, Victoria, like, look, y'all. I'm sorry to everybody listening, but I actually don't hate any of the Victorias that have graced our show. I don't hate Victoria the Queen. She's annoying. They're all annoying in their own ways, but I kind of something about them fascinates me. I think Queen Victoria is the worst of them all because she was like a full bully, might be a Trump supporter, like all sorts of shit. But other Victorias, Victoria, uh, the other blonde Victoria here, Victoria P, and then the non-on Victoria Bachelor in Paradise Victoria F. I am sorry, but
I'm not a fan of
I don't know. I
Victoria
don't hate them.
F.
But
I don't dislike
Victoria
her, but I'm not a
P,
fan of hers.
yeah, Victoria P though is like a master class in manipulation. Like has been always been since like we thought like Demi is loud and messy with her manipulation, but Victoria P, she held on until the limo, like I was impressed, but also
So
wow girl. But
Victoria
anyway,
P, and I
yeah,
don't want to say you
go
can't
ahead.
trust her because I don't know her, right? But it's like you get Demi, and you have Demi screaming
Right.
from the rooftops, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. And then you've got Victoria P, who's thinking you can't bullshit a bullshitter. And I'm going to tell you guys, the people that think that are the scarier people. Truly, like you're correct in the sense where it's like the people that are sitting there and like thinking to themselves like you can't bullshit a bullshitter, like those are the ones to be not fearful, but like fearful of, because those are the people that are gonna like trick you into joining an MLM and like steal all your fucking money.
No, she no, she's good, okay? Like
And
really
this is not a
good.
compliment for listeners
And
who
I
might be
am
confused. This is not a
no.
compliment by any means.
No. I I am so I'm a Scorpio Mercury, y'all. So and it's my chart ruler. So I tend to sometimes be fascinated by people who are like this. I don't like these people. I don't enjoy them.
Yeah,
I don't want them in my life, but I see them on a show like this. This is why I like reality
exactly.
TV. I
Yes.
see these people and I'm like,
Same
are you
page.
kidding me? Like she's a masterclass. Like no one should be doing anything that she's doing,
Like we're gonna see a
but oh my
documentary on
god.
HBO Max in like
So,
10 years about Victoria P and how she masterminded some kind of like crazy fucking white collar fraud. It's gonna be insane.
yep. Yep. So, okay, I just saw her birthday. I'm gonna look up her chart real quick because I know she's a Virgo, but I need to know the rest. But anyway, do you wanna start off talking about that? What
So
it's like Tammy is like, I know
right,
Victoria
and
P
it's
has a
it's
boyfriend
kind of
already.
insane. And my favorite part of the whole thing is the fact that they actually used a playbook, like a graphic, as if they were. And it was weird that it was a soccer field. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie. Maybe that's just weird to me because I don't particularly like soccer. I know it's the most popular sport in the world, whatever.
maybe they weren't paying
But they
attention
used the
enough.
soccer field, and they actually did the whole like it didn't make sense, but I love the integration of it like being a game, because we talk about that all the time. But basically, Tammy knows that
Yep.
Victoria's got a boyfriend back home, and she knows, so she says, that Victoria's plan is to make it really far and make it far enough that she can then admit she has a boyfriend and bring her Nashville singing country singer boyfriend on TV with her. I think, which is like a very convoluted plan. Like this plan really doesn't make very much sense, and if that is the
Yes.
plan, then it's very poorly thought out.
Well, part of me thinks Tammy is
It's got to be
exaggerating
right.
a lot of the plan. I think that she probably did have a boyfriend, but girl, I'm sorry, you're not gay. You're not gonna get your boyfriend from off show
Right. Like
onto the
that's what I
show.
mean.
Like
Like
it's
it's not a
that's not
good
how this
plan if
works.
that's the
Like,
plan.
yeah. But I was looking at the rest of Victoria. Okay, so Victoria is a Virgo Sun, Libra Moon, Leo Mercury, Virgo Venus, Virgo Jupiter, Gemini Mars. Wow, a lot of air, a lot of really good plotting energy here. And Virgo just she knows every little detail. I'm surprised she has no Cancer placements, honestly. Very surprised. Maybe I have the year. I hope I have the year right.
Not off
Actually,
the
do you
top of
know
my
what
head
year
now.
old she is? But Victoria P is so chaotic. So Tammy's calling her out, and then it
Yes.
starts spreading around the palapa. And then we have uh wait. Oh yeah. This was where I was like I was really confused. I was like, country singer boyfriend, what the fuck? Like I was like missing I guess I was like missing some
I
of the
don't think they
details.
gave a lot of the details. I
And
think
then
that
also
was really
Tammy, I
like
don't have a
I'm gonna Google
no, she
Victoria.
yeah, she really was yeah. And like Tammy, I don't have a problem with her. I have a problem with her actions, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
I
that's
don't.
having a problem with her. But
Semantics. Like, come on.
so this is when we start having all of the different rumors popping around, and it gets back to James, who's been talking to Victoria P because Victoria P needed a rose. She kept forgetting his name in ITMs, which comes up. But then she is talking to him, and he's like, so I hear you might like have a boyfriend, I guess. And she denies it. She gets on the defensive. He's like, she's like, well, you just didn't mention him when you were talking about your past relationships, because she says that they were like, well, we did date, but like we're over now. Like, and he's like, well, you didn't mention that. And she goes, well, like sometimes like some things take time, and I don't even know your last name. And he goes, well,
But
you didn't
like
even remember my
exactly
first name,
though.
apparently. And that was my favorite moment. That was my favorite moment. One of my favorite moments of that episode is when he was like, well, that was also, I'm going to say this. That is the only thing I ever think, that is the only time I think James had a single thought behind his eyes. Because usually I'm looking at James and I'm like, James,
Sweet, sweet
is there
James.
a brain in there? I'm sorry. But he's just like,
I know
I don't know
exactly
what,
what you're
go
talking
look
about.
at the video of the when he was singing in Sync,
Yeah,
and he
no,
was just
I know.
like,
I know. I know.
he like just doesn't. There is no he left that brain in the box. Okay, but anyway, so that was the one moment where I was like, good job, James.
But I think that's
But
like
then
fair to make her.
he's like,
He
I'm
like
just
made
trying to
her
make
point for her. She's like,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. I didn't even remember your
absolutely
first name, and you thought I was going to tell you my life
like
history. Like, calm the fuck down.
right. And then James, he's like, I'm just trying to make sure I'm spending my
Fair.
time wisely. And then he goes on his ITM, he goes, I don't want to be used for a rose. And
But
this is where
then
I'm just like,
you
buddy,
made
look,
plans
dude,
with
you're
two
not,
other women to just kind of give them a rose.
and then picked
So,
Demi. Like, I don't, James, have you watched Bachelor in Paradise? Because for maybe sometimes a couple of weeks, some people just give roses to their friends, okay? And they keep people
well,
on.
and
Like, you, I'm sorry you're not booed up like everybody else, but you don't have to be booed up with
this
someone
is
if
like
you're
a
not
what the
into them
fuck
yet. There
moment
will
for
be
me
more
though,
people.
because like
Like,
we sit there and
it's
Demi
like,
basically
dude,
says as much, like implies it's going to be a friend rose, but like we could totally try. Like we could like see if this is a thing. And it's like, if James,
yeah.
James, 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 wake
Literally,
up,
no.
James.
Demi is not going to do that.
But then
Demi doesn't give a fuck about you, buddy.
at
No,
least
again, back to no
we've got fucking
thoughts. No
Kelsey,
thoughts.
who's literally calling it like the Kelsey Rose, and it's like it's a friend rose, and it's like a very honest conversation, given the fact that she clearly doesn't have to be honest if she doesn't want to. But it's like, yeah, God, guys, please get Demi off my fucking screen, please.
No, it's literally like
It's gonna be a
it was
long,
clear
long
that the
season.
producers told him, no, you have to keep
No.
Demi. You have to pick Demi because Kelsey wasn't giving us
But maybe
anything
she would
as
have,
far
and
as
it would have been.
I think she would have. No, I think she would have. I love Kelsey. I really love her, but she wasn't at that point before Demi wasn't giving us anything,
I just
and
feel
the
like
producers were
Demi
literally like, James, you
being
need to
on
pick her.
my TV screen
You
is
need to pick her.
very literally like an affront to my intelligence. Like I think that they are like insulting my intelligence by
It's a hate
trying to
crime.
make me think that Demi is like legitimately on this show for the reasons that they state people should be on this show.
Yeah,
Like please do not fucking insult me that way.
yeah,
I'm offended. I find it offensive that they're trying to pass her
right,
off as like a legitimate contestant. Like go away. I hate it
yeah.
so much.
No, I feel bad, and eventually she and Mari are gonna be all over Kenny, which is gross. I'm
Like
just not
what? I
excited
don't.
for that
Yeah.
energy
Mm.
at all. But whatever. Back to Victoria P. So she then turns all this shit around and thinks that it's like, well, I can't believe my friends didn't come to me first. And it's like, honey, no. And she goes to Tammy and Kelsey, and she does something that actually, again, brilliant tactic, not good. Brilliant though. Where she goes, are we friends? That was the first thing she asks them, and I'm just like, and Tammy's like, well, yeah, but I call my friends on their shit, peak Aries. Just like, I call my friends out, bitch. Which, no, Tammy, I'll say I don't like Tammy, y'all, but I don't think she's wrong here, but wrong as far as talking about the boyfriend, but I also don't like Tammy. Again, it's just like every single one of these people, I'm like, why are you guys doing this? I've also never liked Tammy. Because then they were all talking. I don't even know exactly what the argument was anymore because they all were just talking over each other, and that's when Victoria was like, I can't do this. I have to step out of this. And then she goes, I'm setting a boundary by leaving. And they were like, what? You can't leave us? Which honestly, like, I'm gonna say this. I actually do think Victoria should have just, yeah, like, I think that leaving what she did was fine. Like, it was not going to go anywhere, and then she fucking self-eliminated, so it was fine. But
Yeah, you
like, that
don't. It's
conversation
like the
wasn't going
Taylor Swift
anywhere.
thing. Like I
Kelsey and
very
Tammy,
much wish to be excused from this narrative. Like that type of thing. It's like listeners, just
yes,
to tell you things that my therapy teachings, to share some of my own therapy teachings. But like but you don't have to do anything. You're not
yes,
required to do anything. Like social cues or
yeah,
social ties might make you feel like you have to. You don't have to do anything that makes you uncomfortable. And like be as graceful about it as possible, like be as polite and as kind about it as possible, but like don't make yourself fucking suffer for the benefit of somebody else. Like you don't need to do that. If you want to do that, that's
Yeah.
fine, but
And
you don't need to do that.
I think too that and I think that conversation probably I think Victoria P was like, "Oh fuck it, if these women are going to be giving me problems this entire time, I'm out." Because I don't think she would have self-eliminated if it wasn't or maybe she self-eliminated because she was afraid James like she
Yeah,
wasn't
I
going to
think she
get a
got like
rose and she
in
didn't
over
want to
her
get
head. I
like
think it was just like an
central.
overwhelming thing. And I
Um
think maybe if the rose ceremony wasn't
yeah,
that night and she had had an opportunity to like sleep on it, she probably would have stayed. But I think that she made like an incredibly rash decision. Like, I feel
I
very
can see
overwhelmed
that.
right now. I need to leave. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm out. But so she goes to James. She tells him that she's done. She self eliminates. She then this is
Oh,
when she
yeah.
gets in that fucking car. This was it for me. This was it for me where I was like I wanted to stand back and just like slow clap because she was holding firm against I don't have a boyfriend. I don't da 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 da. And then she gets in the car and she says, I guess I just didn't need to come to paradise for what I already have back home. And then she gives the slyest little like smile with a little twinkle in the eye, and then they cut. And it was just I'm sorry, it was art. It was art. I
I
don't
it's one of those
approve,
things where it's
but
like
it
you want
was
to give
art.
the props because like you said, like, well done. Like you managed to, yeah, good game.
Good game.
However, um
Good game.
you didn't make it past the second episode, girl.
Not
So
good.
not that good.
Yeah, you got
Really, not
you
that
barely
good.
made it. You didn't do very well.
Better than
You
Jed,
fucking got
but not
exposed
that great.
immediately, girl. Also, ooh, true. But also, I will say this: Tammy and Aaron are made for each other.
So can I just say, real
I
fast,
hate them. They're
Tammy
made
and
for each
Aaron
other in
and
this
Serena. I just
situation.
want to talk about this
They're the
really
same person.
fast because this little trio made me watching this. Watching this was
Yeah,
the
there's a couple little
most
things.
and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I also don't mean it affectionately. This was the most like high school bullshit I've ever seen in my life. Like the fact that Tammy is watching Aaron make out with Serena and then is like, I'm not threatened by Serena, and then immediately walks over and like straddles Aaron. And I'm like, methinks the lady doth
That yep.
protest too much.
So
Oh
so
my god, that was so
Tammy
funny.
and Serena are
It
both
was hilarious
Aries.
to watch.
And Aries are so fucking competitive. And I literally
And
can't
Aaron just got to
believe,
sit
yeah,
there.
when
Aaron just
Tammy
got to sit
went up
there and
there.
like basically watch two beautiful women fight over him. And he just sat there. He didn't even do anything.
Yep. Also, I can't believe that Serena C in her rap insinuated that she wanted to sit on Aaron's face. Because that is the one quote I have. It's such a beautiful place. I want to sit on your lap.
Where the fuck did that microphone come from?
A boom somewhere.
No, it
An
was like a
ITM. I know,
microphone.
but I'm saying like an ITM room somewhere, some fucking
Where the
dumb
fuck did
mic,
that microphone come from?
or for a concert that they're gonna have eventually when someone comes to sing.
Oh, probably. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
say like those are not like
yeah, no,
standard
that's
on set
a
microphones.
yeah,
Like where
that's
the
a
fuck did that come from? That was like David
she
Spade was there and
traveled.
did like stand up for a night. I don't know. She brought
Yeah,
it as a prop. Can you imagine?
literally. But anyway, so Serena C and Aaron do make out, and I think
Yes, they
Aaron
do.
was just like, yeah, sure, why not? But that yeah, Tammy fully fucking straddles him, fully marks her territory, fully claims it.
But it's like if I was Serena, I wouldn't view that as you marking your territory. I would view that as like, oh, so you're insecure. Like, so I
Yes,
got to you.
yes,
Noted.
100%.
Noted.
And I definitely think that Tammy. I just think that Aaron is enjoying being straddled.
I just
So he
can't.
picks her, but whatever, who knows? I also
I
just
think he's
yes,
handsome, but I don't know if Aaron's necessarily worth all this drama. Like
I
I'm
really
confused.
don't think so. Plus Aaron
Problematic.
just is a man that gives me so many walking red flags because of the way he interacts with other people, not necessarily the way he treats women. It's just that
No, his
like,
behavior on Katie's season was so alarming. The fact that he like was actively trying to find problems with every
well,
single man.
and he's gonna
Well,
fight with
appropriate.
Thomas too again. Like,
Of course he
it's
is.
just
Why wouldn't
like,
he? It's his mate.
relax, man. You're on the beach. Just let people vibe and whatever. So, uh,
Yep.
okay.
Agreed.
Can you tell me really quickly? Do you know what happened with Tejuan and Victoria, Queen Victoria? They were like, Victoria and Taj were like talking about something, and Tajwan, I guess Victoria said something about to Tajwan about, I don't know, but I just have Victoria with her dumb white tears over it. Like, it seems like a
Oh
really
no, I must have
small
missed something else
thing.
too.
It was like so small, but it was before, it was like early cocktail party, because I have it written before Tammy and James and Victoria P are all talking and stuff. But
Do I have?
whatever. Oh, by the way, another thing that I forgot to mention, Tammy mentioning this word rose chasing. New terminology alert.
Love it. Love the
Loved it.
terminology. Tammy, we're
Um,
taking it. Thanks.
yeah. But anyway, then after James, of course, Demi immediately jumps on James, and is like, he's like, haha, I'm fun size, you're so big. And then she ends their conversation with, are we gonna have sex? What the fuck? Like, it was so jarring to me. I was very confused. I just was like, Demi
Can't
is
say it
unhinged.
again. Demi
Unhinged.
is garbage, in my opinion.
Yep.
Can't
So
stand her.
we have the rose ceremony, and it goes in this order: Iva Justenia, Noah Abigail, Joe Serena P, Connor Marissa, Trey Tejuan, Carl Deandra. I can't believe Carl got someone, but he had a rose, so he was going to give it to someone. Um, Brendan, Natasha, Aaron, Tammy, Kenny, Mari, and then this is when Kelsey pulls her like fainting thing, and she like stops and has water or whatever. And then James picks Demi, and this is in my notes. I directly wrote, James is a fool. He thinks Demi will want to get to know him better, but LOL, she does not care. Literally a
So
fucking idiot. He's like, yeah, we can see
I
where this goes. No, it's not going anywhere. Anyway, Kelsey, unfortunately, and Victoria, Queen Victoria, and then Serena
yes.
C go home. And honestly, I feel like Queen Victoria, will be back next Paradise. I believe it.
I agree. And I also am not sad to see Serena leave.
Me neither.
I think
I
Serena is entertaining on like Instagram, but I don't think that she's got like the personality for television.
I
As
don't.
someone who also doesn't
Yeah.
have the personality for television, I see that maybe you don't have the personality. You're just very like monotone and like very, you know what I mean? And that does not, as much as I hate to say it, like when
She
you're
needs
up
some
against someone
energy.
like Demi, right, exactly, exactly.
Get the energy, girl. But anyway,
Exactly.
then we have the best exit. David Spade in the fucking limo when he leaves, and he's like, I just liked, I really was glad I got to hang out with all these other attractive people. And then my
That's what I'm
favorite,
saying. He's so funny.
my favorite was, I'm just looking forward to seeing all those folks on Cameo. Oh, it was perfect.
Thank you to the producers, casting, whoever the fuck brought up David Spade at the meeting table, like whoever threw his name into the ring, like thank you. And
Yep.
for whoever secured it, thank you. Thank
Yep.
you. I needed this.
So, and then direct rollover to the third episode with the "It's Gonna Be May" intro, which I actually thought was so good the way they did it. And especially because all of those millennials and elder Gen Zs who were just like, na, 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 they were all dancing, they all knew the words. Because how do you not know the words to that song?
Fun fact
I'm
about me.
not like them.
So,
What? Did you see
uh,
him in sync?
I've In Sync was my very first concert ever when I was in second grade, and Lance Bass was my crush up until he formally came out as gay. And I mean, like
Fair.
he was still my crush after that, but like I actually, for a very, very good couple of years, thought that I really had a chance in like my teenage girl delusion or preteen delusion. I
Yeah.
fucking love Lance Bass more than of all the people. And I've like met Joey Fatone a couple times. Like, yeah, I Lance Bass is if he
And
walked
it's funny because
onto the set, if he walked on
yeah,
set of anywhere that I was, I'd be like, I'm done now.
I'm passing out.
I'm done now.
Even with his blue hair
Especially with the
or the
blue hair.
purple. Love
I
him.
love Lance Bass an outrageous amount. Outrageous. I used to have a fucking oh god damn it. I
Oh
love
my
Lance
god.
Bass.
Wow. Well, he was very interesting on his intro. I thought he was cute.
I
He's
love
like, "Well, you
him.
want to know who your host is? It's gonna be May." And then, but yeah, that
Okay.
was really funny. But yeah, so then we have Thomas. It's immediately Thomas intro. Here he comes. And yeah,
I mean, I've expressed how I feel about Thomas. I do think that Thomas got a bad rap because, like you said,
yes.
like he just happened to
On
admit
his yep,
his defense of himself was so bad, and it made him
horrible.
look so much fucking worse. Like I can understand where someone may be flustered, like you're on TV and you're nervous about editing and whatever. So like maybe you say things that just
Nah.
whatever. He defended himself so fucking poorly.
He Thomas is definitely so okay. Thomas is nowhere near any level of some of the iconic Bachelor villains,
Absolutely not. Yeah.
especially the men. And I think that the way that the production tried so hard to make him the villain was embarrassing. Like, and it's clear that they were trying to put Greg as the Bachelor potential despite his
How'd that work
exes, which
out
was
for you guys, huh?
awful. Literally,
How'd that
fuck
work out?
absolutely not. And so it's funny because what everybody kind of thought Thomas was Greg.
But that's what I
Like
mean. Like
firmly.
he really
And
was just
so
made worse
he
of a
yeah.
bad situation.
So he is not nearly as next level villain as some of these people think he is, as some of these people. When
Agreed.
I say these people, I mean the men on his season,
Agreed.
the men that he's around, and
Yep.
whatever. The producers are trying so hard because the way they were like making him like the like dun dun dun, like, oh, he's here on the beach. Like, I'm like, oh my god, like Thomas was annoying and a dick for sure, and definitely like we watched him actively lie to the men, so I understand why they're annoyed. But it's just like,
Did he lie
y'all,
though?
he's not that. Yeah, he did. He told them that he was falling in love with, or he told Katie that he was falling in love with her, and he didn't say that. Like he was saying shit to the men about it was when he was trying to he was trying to make it seem like his time that he took extra with Katie or whatever wasn't that, oh well, it was actually really important, I needed to tell her that I was falling in love with her. And that's when they were like, what? And that's why later Trey says, oh, I think that Thomas said that he loved Katie on the second date. And it's like, no, that's not what he said. Like, it's just, again, the telephone of the that is the true playing a game of telephone with the Thomas story, in my opinion. All of the men told a different little version of Thomas to all these women. And yeah. But also, Thomas proved himself to be a dick and annoying on Serena's date. Like, he just showed himself. Like, he was like literally using that date, and maybe again, they probably cut out a bunch of other dumb shit, but he used that date to talk shit on the other men and say Trey wasn't emotionally
That
strong.
has to be an editing choice. I cannot. I
It was a lot.
understand what you're saying, and I think that I have such complicated feelings about it because like I just cannot believe that he walked off of Katie's season and saw the backlash that he got from Katie's season and then immediately walked into Paradise and was like, let me repeat this. Like I don't think he's smart. I don't think that he's brilliant by any means because clearly the way he handled the situation indicates that like maybe he's lacking in like his problem solving skills a little bit. But at
Yeah.
the same time, like I don't think that he's that dumb. Like that has to be editing.
I think, yeah, I definitely think he's smarter than James or like some of these other people. Yeah, he's definitely
Just
got
even just smarter than the way that they're making
he's
him look.
he is also a Gemini sun with a double Aquarius, so that's a lot of intellect there. But it's like, in my opinion, he almost over intellectualizes a lot of stuff, which is why he gets into these positions. And it's like he doesn't understand peak Aquarius stuff. He just doesn't understand how to have like an emotionally present conversation with anybody.
So
And
It's interesting you say that because my thought was like in the same vein where I was like, I think that Thomas's problem is that he talks too much and gives them too much to pick from. They can make
Gemini.
him say literally whatever the fuck they want because he's managed to say every word in the English
Yeah.
language at some point or another.
Yeah. No, that's peak Gemini,
Yeah.
and the Aquarius part of him is also where everyone is feeling the like robotic fake energy because he's also practical. Like Aquarius is literally like, yeah, I had thought about being being the Bachelor. Didn't you? Like he, and also what
Yeah,
I
it
think is
did.
funny, his phrasing when he walks in to David Spade is he's like, yeah, I am, I was hit hard by the collective, which is just like the most Aquarius phrasing of like, yeah, the collective just didn't like me. I was just the odd one out. I was that weirdo. They weren't into me, but I am not that guy. And
Honestly, fair play for calling them collective the way that they all called him out and like fucking unionized like
yeah,
that.
no,
I probably called
he's
them
not
collective
wrong.
too.
It was the it was the collective. It
Yeah.
was everybody, including Katie. Like, bye. So whatever. But he comes in, they make fun of him for being so tall and how he keeps talking about being tall. All the men are stressed that he's talking to all of the women, and it's just like all the Thomas rumors are spreading. This is where James says, see, I knew it was I didn't think it could have been Trey. James
Jordan.
is the no thoughts man. No, James says that that Thomas was the one who said to Katie that he loved her, which that actually did not happen. Like I
So,
remember very clearly.
but like maybe it did because we talk about editing all the time. Like maybe it did
Yeah,
happen.
but probably I because he was talking about the part where he said, "I'm falling for I'm falling." I told Katie I was falling in love with her.
Well,
That
no, I think it's like
second
really
date.
nuanced and like definitely not 100% true. But I don't know if we can claim that it's an outright lie because like it's very
Well,
clear that
either
production had
way,
a plan for him.
it all seems that everybody is just like talking all their shit about Thomas,
Oh,
all their different
absolutely.
opinions. And then he takes obviously takes Serena P, and Joe is so emo about it.
Classic
And then this
Joe.
is what but then we have a quick comic relief of fucking Carl doing his air punches. He's so dramatic.
I'm
Anyway.
so scared, Shannon, that this season is gonna make me once again like not like, but also like not hate Carl. Like I'm like worried that I'm
Yeah,
gonna end up like kind of sort of enjoying Carl
like Carl just seems like
because he just seems so like silly and
a goon.
inconsequential. Like he's just like that
He's
goofy
just
guy
like
in the corner.
li- who's doing his jujitsu shit on the
It's a
beach.
little
Like,
shadow
whatever,
box.
y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
It's like, oh, look
but
at Carl being all crazy.
yeah. So then we have Riley show up and talks to all the women, la la la, talks to Marissa and Tammy, Natasha, Demi, and then Tajwan. Tajwan is thirsty for Riley. She was ready. He came down and she's like, that's my man. Like, she's like, that's who I've been waiting for. He's so hot. She's begging him to talk to her, but not like to him, but like in ITM, she's like, I just want him to pick me to talk to. I want to talk to
I
him.
wish we could see these
And
people in person. I think Riley is very handsome, don't get me wrong. But like the way that they react, I'm like, he's gotta be like a fucking stunner in person.
Riley, no, to me though, what I think it is,
So those arms.
straight women love these bodies and
Yeah.
these arms. I actually think that he looks like yikes, like he is too yoked, he got off of Tasha's season and was like, oh, I'm gonna
I'm gonna have
lift,
the
and that
biggest
will be my
arms on the beach.
personality.
Yeah.
His Chiron, did you notice his Chiron on this episode at one point was works out under his name?
That's okay, that's another thing. The lower thirds on this fucking season are
So
good for
funny.
you guys,
I have one.
editors. Good
I
for
have
you.
one. Wait, I have another one. Fuck. There was another one that was so funny that I have it listed somewhere. But oh yeah, Riley's Chiron was works out. But then there was another one. What was funny about it? Whatever. But anyway, so Serena P and Thomas are on their date, and this is when Thomas tells Serena that all the fighting was like at him and like with him. Like he's like, well, the men fought with me. Like I didn't fight with them. And he explains that Trey, this is really random and I did not know this. He explains that Trey was like his brother. But then like when Aaron talked shit, it all went downhill. And then Serena P immediately comes back from the date and tells Joe that she chose it, like she wants to be with him and it doesn't have care for Thomas, and then tells Joe like, yeah, it was weird. He was just like talking shit on everybody else. And then this is where it like becomes the like Thomas ends up realizing that like he's like, well, Serena P said that she was overwhelmed and like that this was a lot to take in, so I think we should consider other relationships still. So Thomas was like, fuck, okay, and then realized this is when I was like, he's kind of stressed, and then he goes on an apology tour and he goes to all the men from his season and is like, I'm sorry, I lied to you. I did this. I said this when I did this. He actually listed all his things. At first, when he goes, I'm sorry for everything I did to you, I didn't know he was going to keep going. And I was like, of course, it's okay. It's blanket. But then he's like, no, I lied when I said this. I did this on the date. I took time from Katie. I was an ass to you. I took you for granted. And then he's like, I want to find a way to move forward. James is just like, I just want to steer clear. Aaron is like, yeah, I want space. Thomas is like, I'm just going to try to be better. Trey appreciates it, gives him a handshake, and it's just like in his ITM is like, I just want to offer grace to people because I've fucked up and people forgive me, so I'm down to forgive too. And then eventually Serena P, that all of the rumor, like all the stuff that Thomas said on her their date comes out, and then Trey basically just full 180 and is like, nah, dude, that's some snake shit. This is like, I was cool, I was good, but you said that shit on the date, I'm done. Nah, we're cool. And he just is like, I'm just not gonna deal with it, walks away. Which I think is the proper way to deal with this. Whereas Aaron eventually is gonna fucking get all up in Thomas's face, of course, because Aaron is. I'm really sensing an Aries rising out of Aaron, or at least ruled by Mars, because he
Oh,
really
absolutely.
wants to
Yeah, for
go.
sure. He's
Like he
ready.
wants to it every
Oh
time.
yeah.
Like Jesus Christ. But so that's all of that Thomas
Yeah.
fallout. And then Riley takes Marissa on a date, and did you hate this date?
Okay.
I
What?
I like didn't.
I don't remember
It was so
Marissa.
weird.
I don't know what season she's from.
She was okay, so she was on Peter's season, but was a night one girl, I think.
Gotcha. So
Night one or night two. It was like or Tajwan was also night one. But Marissa was on Peter's season, but was literally it was like 2 or 3 episodes,
got you.
maybe, and she was out.
I
And also she did not have the blonde braids.
I like
So she would
Marissa a
not have
lot. I think she is so stunning,
super
so
chill.
fucking beautiful, and like just seems like all around great. And I don't want her to end up with Connor or Riley. I think she can do much
Me
better
too.
than both of them. Not to say we know
I
I don't like
agree.
Connor. If you listen to any of the coverage of Katie's season, we all know that I am an avid. I do not
I
fucking
agree.
like Connor, and I can go into a million reasons. He whips out his guitar. Can we wait? Okay, can we? I know we're talking about.
No, we're talking about the date
I know, but
where
I know we're
they
talking about
eventually
like Marissa and Riley. But can I just like shit on Connor for a second?
no, because he is involved in this. He's involved.
Okay,
Please shit on Connor.
so I'm noticing overwhelming support. I noticed it during Katie's season. People fucking love Connor. People love Connor because like he seems so genuine, and like I even saw a fucking tweet last night that was like, but like it's so cute because like his profession is a math teacher, and like he doesn't want to be famous. Like he's a math teacher, and I'm like, are you fucking paying
Idiots.
attention? Are you literally paying attention? Because it's very clear that he's a math teacher with aspirations of becoming a fucking musician. This man
Everyone has a day job until
it
they
is
don't.
literally so insanely strategic, and it is obvious to me that it's strategic, and I don't know how people are overlooking like, oh no, he just happens to have like an instrument and like songs written and it's so endearing. And I'm like, because it's calculated. Because it's calculated. I'm
No,
not trying to if you support Connor, I'm not trying to like call you out of your name, but like seriously, literally open your eyes. Like I can't stand it
he absolutely wants to be famous. Also,
so
the
badly.
reason Connor is literally like he is straight girl
I
bait.
don't
Like
understand it.
no, I don't
I
I
don't
don't either.
fucking
And this is again, I love being queer for these moments because I'm just like y'all, you don't see that he is literally just doing all of this so that then eventually he can get drunk and yell at you. But
No, but seriously though, like
that
he
like
everyone knows that
he
bitches love the
is
sorry, I say bitches affectionately, but like
you do.
everyone knows that bitches love the nice guy. This is a nice guy,
Yep.
seemingly. This is a nice guy who plays the guitar and it
Quote quote.
always happens to be ready to sing for the camera for national television. Are you, to quote Love Island, are you daft? Are you seriously
Are you
not
thick?
getting the fact that this man wants to be? And then, even while Katie's season was airing, how are they sitting there like, well, he just wants to be a math teacher and he just wants to teach the kids? He was promoting his band, like, I'm not going to say the name of it because I'm not going to give him any credibility, but like that his
every
group
time
constantly, constantly.
every time he comes on with a song, he posts it on his Instagram, a
Exactly.
full video of it. And he acts as if, oh, I guess I'll just post
Since
the
you guys are
singles
like
for you
asking for
guys.
the full
Haha,
version, like I'll
TV.
post the full version. Three
Yeah.
people asked for the
And you're
full
like,
version, Connor. Shut up.
nah.
I
And
hate it so
anyway,
much. I'm
also
sorry. That really,
if you listen if you listen to the song he wrote for Katie and the song he wrote for Paradise, they sound the exact fucking same. Like it's not
Connor is the
it
guy
almost
who
to
has
the
four
the
songs,
cadence.
four painfully vague, like maybe he took a creative writing class or two, but like a
I
painfully
want to see
vague
him play
love song.
piano.
And then he just,
I think he's talented. I think he's talented, but it's I want to see him play the piano because if he says he played at a piano bar, so that man can play some fucking piano.
no
You have
one's
to be
saying he's
good as
not
shit on the
talented,
piano to
but I'm going
play.
to tell you right now, I think you're talented. I think I'm talented. I think
Oh,
Olivia is
thank
talented.
you.
You think that anytime a camera was on me on Chopped, I was going to bust out into fucking song? No, because that's not why I'm there. I'm not there for that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm here to
And
cook.
like people are like,
I'm here to find
I
love.
just it kills me. People are like, there was like a hidden camera. Like he had the guitar and he didn't even know anyone was watching. He's on shut up, guys, please. Stop.
I don't, yeah, like, and he's just singing about his feelings about like the fact that he was singing a song for Marissa and those producers put that shit over their dates when they were making out. I honestly, that is like the quite a fool edit, right, Nisa?
But that's the thing is like I don't
I
even think I
know.
don't think that it's I think that maybe it's intended to be a full edit, but like this guy is like fucking Teflon, right? Because like people really just love him and think that he's so genuine. And all I could think of is like I understand music's your outlet, Connor. Music is my outlet too. But you want to know what I'm
He's
not going to do when a million people are watching? And that's like have a private moment. Because a million people are watching. It's not a fucking private moment. I just this
yeah.
is in the same vein as like Demi being this dramatic and shit. Like I feel offended. I feel like this is an
It's
insult to my
all
intelligence that you think that I'm actually buying this shit. And clearly it's working because a lot of people are buying it. But like, guys, he's here for his music career and he hopes that maybe he will also have a relationship after the fact. But he's there to promote his
and
music.
he's also here to promote his kissing skills. Apparently, that's the only thing that they give a shit about redeeming him for.
I hate it.
But Marissa and Riley, when they made out, you could literally tell how much better of a kisser he was, how much better of a makeout they had together. Connor B does not look like he's a good kisser. When you watch him, he looks so awkward. Bro, I'm sorry. Just accept it. It's okay. You might be good at other things. But anyway, their date though, Riley
Yes.
back to Riley Marissa, their date. I didn't okay. Truth or dare, and you have to, or not truth or dare, but like you have to eat a weird thing if you don't want to answer the question. But most of the things weren't weird. And also it was awkward. Why are you asking these questions about who we've had sex with,
Can
how many times, and like, are we teenagers? Like, let them have a date. I why are we giving this like why did Serena and Thomas get a fun, cool, beachy date where they just get a weird dinner where they have to eat shit and
so
then talk about their sex lives? Like it just in front of Lance
we've
Bass
said this
at Lance's
We've
bassery.
said this on other episodes, and I know that if you're listening to this podcast and you've been listening for a while, then you're aware of the fact that Shannon and I work in food, right? We work in the hospitality industry. And I know we've expressed this exact sentiment before, and I just want to like double down and express it again because like this grinds my fucking gears. This is the most annoying part of this entire episode to me. Just because it is not a food that you
Yep.
are familiar with, it is not gross. Please stop this shit. That is like a delicacy to someone else.
It's
That is something that someone else loves. To call this shit gross is fucking offensive. It is so absurdly ridiculous, and I really can't fucking stand it. I really can't stand it. It might not be to your taste level, and that's fucking fine. You don't have to like everything. But just because it's a cuisine that's not
yeah.
familiar to you or a food that's not familiar to you, don't sit there and don't fucking call it disgusting, because it's not disgusting to everybody. It's literally so
Like
insanely rude.
if you're gonna do something like this, do like you did with the fucking Tasha and Katie season where they drank strange
Of
smoothies
weird
of gross stuff.
combinations,
That's
and
not a
exactly. But
delicacy,
don't take
you
shit from
know?
another culture and say
That's
that it's
gross
fucking
shit.
disgusting. It is so rude and so
Yeah.
offensive.
And then of course they eat the tongue and they're both like, "Oh, this is good." Yeah,
People
cuz it's
fucking eat that shit
beef.
all the time. Literally, how many
It's not
dude,
weird.
I this is my biggest pet peeve just in life.
Also,
Oh my god, I hate it.
there was like blue cheese. There was like blue cheese on that plate. There was like all sorts of food that isn't bad. It probably just all when you opened it, all the cloche, all of the smells at once were probably
And
just
that's the
like
thing, like best
abrasive,
case
and so you're
scenario,
probably like,
right?
"Ooh,
Best case scenario, they sat there and said, "What things do you not like? Like, what foods do you not like? Like, are you a picky
yeah,
eater? Like, what don't you like?" And then they just collected a bunch of foods that these people know that they don't like, right? And that's best case scenario. And that's
yep."
fucking fine. That's like something entirely different. But like, chill the fuck out, guys.
So that date though, they did seem to be though the date did seem to be good. They enjoyed themselves. They had a great makeout. They looked good together. They all
Yeah.
Marissa and Riley and oh wait, when
But
Connor
Marissa would look good with everybody because she's just
when
fucking
she
insanely
stepped
hot.
out in that leopard outfit, I knew Connor B was doomed. She would
Dude.
never dress like that for him ever. That man,
No.
no, no. I'm sorry, but no. And when Connor B was strumming on his little thing and he was in the ITM, he's like, I'm not worried. I'm pretty sure Marissa and I have a good connection. She'll come back and whatever. And then
Oh
they
god.
split to Noah, who's like, yeah, Connor's pretty confident. I think that Marissa's gonna come back for him, but everybody else on the beach knows Marissa is gone. Which, yeah, we all know. We see it, buddy. She gone. She is stuck in those Riley mega arms and will not be out. I'm sorry, Connor.
They
You
have their own like gravitational pull. They're
no.
so large. She
Lit-
actually can't get
no,
out. Like
like
she's
he just has her in this lock and he's like, I'm sorry, they're stuck like this.
there's
I am actually too large to no, he is to the point. He's to the point where he's gonna start walking around with his arms slightly off of his body because he can't flatten them all the way. Like he's that
the
close. Johnny Bravo.
fucking Randy from A Christmas Story. I can't put my arms down.
No, literally. Riley and Marissa are hot as shit, and then they immediately they literally immediately leave that date and go to the fucking boom boom room, and they seemingly most likely have sex or at least hook up in
So
some way.
okay, maybe my understanding of the boom boom room is either it's maybe it's been a while or the rules have changed. It's just open. You can just
Yeah,
go.
I think so. And I think
Because I
it's
imagine it where it's like Love Island and the Hideaway, where like the very first season of Love Island UK, the Hideaway was there and they could use the Hideaway as they felt. And then in the more recent seasons, you have to be like invited or like you have to be sent to the Hideaway. It's like an
mm,
exclusive thing that is like not just
yeah. No,
available.
I think the boom boom room is open, but I think that this is off camera stuff. I think that they have like consent rules, so I don't think that people can just go to it. I think they actually have
They have
to
to like ask,
discuss with the producers and stuff, but that's not
like, we
shown
want to
on
go.
camera. They don't want to show that stuff. And I also think
Yeah,
too
yeah.
that only couples that are like really coupling I think are going into it because But anyway, so they go and into that room immediately, and Connor B is still playing his little sad song. And I'm just like, did they just like skirt them into the boomer room around from Connor? They told Connor, go, oh, hey, Connor, we need you for an
Connor's
ITM.
sitting outside the boom boom room with his fucking guitar playing his song, and Riley and Marissa are just like, can he just fucking
Could
leave?
they go? Could he go? Wait, what is his problem? Because that's the
Can someone go
problem.
get him, please?
He will never. Connor will probably never be aggressive like to Riley or to be jealous or whatever. I mean, could you imagine? LOL.
But
But
passive aggressive? Totally.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Is he's never.
Totally.
He's gonna just be. Well, he's gonna be Pisces victim, sad boy. Like, oh, Marissa just chose someone else over me, so I guess I gotta go find
And
somebody
listeners,
else.
in case we haven't said it enough, that is also a form of manipulation.
Manipulation, big
Pew
time.
pew.
So anyway, their date is done, and what's left? Trey and Tajwan talk about. Oh, they talk about how Tajwan was into Riley, and he was like, I was like, I can tell you were like really into him or whatever, and she's like, yeah, but I want to get to know you better. You know, I don't think that we're gonna work out. La la la. And then when Tajwan was holding the after she was freaking out about the crab in that ITM, and then later she's holding the crab with the paper. She goes, "What do you think? Should we give Trey another chance?" Oh, okay. So then this is where I start noticing Brendan's little bit of fuckboy shit. Brendan and Natasha talk.
Yes.
And Natasha is like talking to Joe about how she's confused about Brendan, and Joe's like, I don't know, I think he's just like that guy. And then he tells her, so she goes to talk to Brendan, and she's like, I think he's not. There's like, I'm not sure if you're into me, like, or like where this is going. He doesn't get very physical. He's very avoidant, and this is where I start. We were talking. I was talking on Clubhouse with Emily and Val, and they were like, it's like, oh yeah, it's very clear that Brendan has an avoidant attachment style, because it's like if he likes someone, he then just disappears, which is also very Scorpio. But she says he's avoidant, Natasha, and then when she talk to Brendan, he's like, I like you more and more every day. And she's like, I don't know. I just like don't feel like something's clicking. Like she straight up's like, do you? Like, and it's fair. Like he's not even, the body language in this conversation is so weird. He's like leaning on this, he's on the bed thing, but he's not like have his arm. He doesn't have his hand on her leg, his arm behind her. He's just kind of like like laying and holding his arms right there. And
Yeah.
she's not like, they're just not, it doesn't seem like they have any chemistry, that they just like each other, I guess. But Brendan is, I think, trying to convince himself maybe, but he's just doing this thing that I've had happen to me before with Scorpios, where you're like, do you like me? Like, are you
Mhm.
are you good? And they're like, yes, of course. And you're like, could you show it? Like, what is going
And that's like,
on?
listeners, that's also why it's important to discuss love languages. Like, I know
Yes.
this is like a more common thing in recent years, but like, even if it's as much, you don't have to have the same love language. It's fantastic sometimes if you do, but you don't
Yeah.
have to. But the importance of understanding how somebody gives and receives love is very important to how you give and receive love as well. You know, like
Yeah.
it's all very, it needs to be like cohesive or at least understood. And like for all we know, Brendan's just not a touchy feely guy. Like maybe he's like a acts of service guy or like a gift giving guy, and he like can't really give gifts on Paradise. So like
Yeah.
talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
Don't assume things.
Yeah, the only
Communicate.
acts of service you can really do on Paradise is like bringing you a
Going and
drink.
getting them water.
Yeah, bringing you a drink, bringing you water, bringing
Are
you
you hydrated?
food. Uh oh, do you need me to
Sunscreen? Are you all right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, can I get you a blanket? Like, it's not a
We
lot
ask
of
her like eight
options.
times a day. Do you need a blanket? No,
Yeah,
Brendan, you just asked me.
that honestly is a really interesting point. Just like blanket for the entire show, like all 3 seasons. Like there isn't any way. The only things people really have are words of affirmation. And I guess in the regular seasons you can kind of finagle gifts. Like, but it's very
Sort of.
it's producer approved gifts and stuff you either had to very,
Right,
very,
right.
very far ahead think. Like, oh, I have to bring, like I'm thinking about Ivan and his
Taco Bell and candy like Andrew S.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
yeah.
Like, and or Ivan with his chess piece that he gave to Tasia. He's like, I brought this because I love chess and I was
Yes.
playing chess but by
Exactly.
myself in quarantine. So it's like might as well give you the queen, right? And so it's like all these things, like you had to really think hard, but
Exactly.
or you had to get the producer to get it for you. And I or oh my god, I think about Peter pulling flowers out of the fucking background of his set to give to Victoria. I think it was Victoria P actually, or something. Someone was like, he was like, I can't believe you've never been given flowers. Boom. Like, or someone had an orchid somewhere. I think someone pulled an
You
orchid
gotta
out.
finesse it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's all, so the only love language you can really do is quality time, which obviously is time, it's game of time, words of affirmation, like anything else. Oh, and physical touch, of course,
And
because
if your love language is quality time, then you're like kind of fucked
you
anyway.
are fucked. Like honestly, this show was made for affirmation and touch people, because touch people, if you can make out and kiss every time you see each other, you're feeling great. Words of affirmation people, as long as you sit there and be like, I like you so much, like then that's it. That's all you need. But sorry to everybody else. And
It's hard to
quality,
find balance. Yeah.
yeah. And so it's that's really interesting to think about that overall. But wow.
Because I had that thought because I was like, he doesn't seem that into her. And then I was like, well, maybe he is. Like, I'm not really a
I
cuddler. Like, I don't really want people touching me. Even people that I like touching me, I don't really
yeah.
want them touching me all the time. I want you to
Yeah.
touch me when I want you to touch me.
I just still feel like there's some part of him that's he's like waiting for, I think he's waiting for
Piper.
Piper. Piper will
I
be
agree.
here.
No, no,
And I
no. I
think
agree.
he's got Natasha on the hook because he needs a rose until Piper shows up. He never knows how long they'll take, so he's gonna have to
That's true.
keep that rose until Piper does get there. Because imagine what she get. I mean, wait, what was it that one year? Was it? I'm sure I can't remember who it was, but it was two people who were talking about wanting to see each other, but also leaving. Or one person was arriving and one person was leaving because they
Oh,
thought that he wasn't showing up.
Connor and
Oh,
Mike's friend, and was it Whitney?
yeah,
Connor and Whitney.
yes,
So then they
because
actually sent her after him
yep.
or something like that. Like she showed up the day that he left or something.
Well, no, she was at the wedding, I think, for Crystal.
No, I know, but then when she was
Oh,
actually, he decided that he liked her at the wedding. He's like,
yeah,
"Oh, I saw her and we hit it off. Like, too
yep,
bad she's not here. I'm just gonna go." And then they brought her in literally as he was, and
yep.
they had her like chase him down in the car and shit. Yeah.
That makes sense. They basically drove past each other. Yeah.
Yep. I think
Wow.
that's what they
Well,
tried to make us think. I think they tried to actually like frame it as if they were literally driving past each
yep.
other.
Oh my god. Well, that was absurd. But anyway, the only last few notes I have is the cliffhanger into the boom boom room. But it was basically Riley and Marissa were just talking to each other about. Riley was like, I always, I feel like I'm looking for a unicorn. I want a woman who wants a family and a good. Riley's dumb. The shit
I
that I
think
didn't
that's
like about
really
Riley.
funny.
The thing I didn't like about Riley in Tasha season was how much he was like, I need a family so that I can fix the issues
Yes.
my family gave to me. And that is not
Yes.
why you
Yes.
should have a family. And also he's just very like masculinity, like I need a wife to have my baby so my wife can be my wife. Like he has that vibe.
Yeah.
So of course it repeating to Marissa, no surprise. But Marissa is like really into it, and in her little ITM, she was so cute. She's like, I just like can't believe like, oh my god, this happened to me. And I kind of do love these moments with these people who didn't have major time on the actual Bachelor or Bachelorette, and then they get a lot more like, oh my god, I'm getting this love, like I'm getting this, and it's like, oh yeah, girl, you.
Like the attention's on me now for the first time in this
It's
franchise. What?
really cute. And I love when
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, it's my first one-on-one. It's my first time doing this. And it's great. But
Craziness.
anyway, but yeah, they end the episode with Connor being emo while they're fucking, basically.
Connor's gonna be emo forever. It's gonna be emo
Yeah.
Connor.
And that's also, hey, buddy, remember whenever Katie called you, you just look like you have like a sad, oh no, she called that to Greg. She told Greg he had sad puppy face, but I always thought that of Connor B.
Connor has sad puppy face.
Yeah, he's the one who's like,
100%.
but wow. Well, anyway, damn, that's so much paradise. We've talked about so much, and now we can be more consistent with our 2 episodes each
Yes.
week. Any last thoughts before we peace out?
Guys, stop falling for Connor's bullshit.
And
That's
yeah,
it. That's all I've got.
Connor, Kenny, Joe, all of them, y'all all need to stop falling for those men.
It's so crazy to me.
It's sad. Joe needs
Just
to
love yourselves. Okay?
love yourselves. But oh well, I hope shipping Ivan and Jasenia forever.
For literally forever. Unless they each find someone better and they're both happy separate, that's also fine. But like I would love them to be happy together.
Exactly. I just like think they're so good. They're both of their little Earth moons together.
I love them. God damn it. And they're
Okay,
just so
well,
beautiful together.
they're
Yeah.
literally so sexy
So
together.
stunning.
Like, I don't even find Ivan attractive. Like, when I look at just Ivan, I'm not someone that's like, oh yeah, like
I think he's
he's
cute.
so hot. He's a
Yeah,
cutie, right? But when I
cute.
see him with Jasenia, I'm like, they are hot. Like the two of them collectively in this union are hot as shit.
Yeah,
So anyway, all right.
agreed.
Wow, this was so fun. I missed the pod. So happy to be
Ah,
back.
so good to be back. So
And
so good to be back.
see you next week in Paradise Hell.